Hi, Joseph. I thought maybe I would just, I see that when I was looking through your lessons that this is the one that you had stopped right before. You haven't completed it yet. So I didn't know if maybe you were having a little difficulty getting through it. So I thought maybe I would just briefly walk you through it here, and maybe that would help to, kind of, I think help your understanding a little bit so that you can go ahead and complete it. It does look a little confusing. It's not near as confusing as it looks. We have two videos here. Proteins and starches are in one. Sugars and fats are in the other. Remember that the proteins, starches, sugars, and fats, we're talking about macromolecules here. Okay? And so what we're going to do in this particular lab, we're going to take different things. Like down here, you'll see here's 1% starch, 1% sucrose, a little more concentrated sucrose solution, onion juice. We're going to be testing for sugars in each of those different solutions. And what you use to do that is an indicator called Benedict's solution. Now, the only thing we have to be able to determine, though, is what colors, when we use our indicator in each of these solutions, well, when it turns what color, does that mean that it's positive? Or when it turns what color, does that mean that it's negative for sugar? So we know that water, doesn't have any sugar in it. So when we add our Benedict solution to that, that'll kind of be our control or our negative. We know that whatever color it's going to be, that will be the negative response because we know that that's a known to us. We know there's no sugar in water. So whatever that color is, we'll want to put the color here, and we're going to say that that will be negative for sugar. Now we'll also want to, test some glucose in something that we know that has glucose in it, so that we can see what the colors are when we do have a solution that has glucose in it, and we put the Benedict solution in. So that's what these little labs are going to do. First of all, we'll find out what color are things if it's negative for sugar, what color are things if it's positive for sugar, and then you're going to take couple things here, and you're going to test them. And you're going to see, does deionized water have sugar in it? Does 1% starch have sugar in it? 1% sucrose have sugar in it? Onion juice, do any of those have sugar in it? So because we don't have the supplies, we're just going to watch somebody else do it. So let's just go right over to here. This is where it starts here. Start this over, and I'm going to just get you started here.
Now we are ready to move on to the test for sugar. The solutions we will test in this experiment are DI water, 1% starch solution, 1% sucrose solution, 10% sucrose
You probably know that sucrose is sugar. Right?
Before we begin,
so we would
I will again label
positive.
my test tubes 1 through 5 and add 3 milliliters of each substance, starting with DI water to the test tube. Next, I will now add 5 drops of Benedict's reagents and swirl the contents.
Okay, so we put each of those things in to a test tube because we just want a little bit to test. Now we're putting our Benedict solution in. Remember, that's our indicator, and depending on the color that it causes each solution to turn, we'll know if it has sugar in it or not.
Finally, I will place all the test tubes in the boiling water bath for 10 minutes.
With Benedict solution, you have to boil it to get the color change. That's indicative of whether glucose is present or not.
For safety, I will use a test tube holder to take the tubes out of the boiling water and place them into the test tube rack. Now we can walk through the results. Looking at test tube 1, which contains DI water, you can see the test tube contents are blue in color, which indicates a negative result for sugar.
It looks like it's a light blue.
Record this in table 3 and save your interpretations for the end. Looking at test tube 2, which contains 1% starch solution, you will see that the mixture has turned light blue, indicating a negative result for sugar.
There's another light blue.
Test tube 3, which contains 1% sucrose solution, is light blue-green in color, which indicates a slight positive result for sugar.
Blue-green there, huh?
Test tube 4, which contains 10% sucrose solution, has turned yellow, which indicates a positive result for sugar, while test tube 5, which contains onion juice, has turned dark brown, indicating the same. Now that we have recorded the results of this experiment, let's discuss the conclusions we can draw. First, for this test, it is important that you not only record if the sugar is present or absent, but if there is sugar present, this test allows you to evaluate how much sugar is present. For this test, I will walk you through the results for your table. Looking at test tubes 1 and 2, the color we will record is blue, which indicates a
For that
negative
light
test
blue
for
that we
sugar.
got for both.
The color of test tube 3 is light blue-green, which indicates a very low amount of sugar is present. The result of test tube 4, yellow color, shows a low level of sugar is present, while the dark brown color of test tube 5 shows a high amount of sugar is present.
So anywhere from light blue-green to yellow to dark brown.
Since we have now walked through the results and conclusions, you will only need to input the results into table 3 and write your conclusion section based on what we discussed here. In addition to including what happened, please also discuss if the results were expected.
Okay, so for that, so here, the way that we know it's negative is by being light blue, right? And so if there is any sugar in anything, it's going to be what? That blue-green or that orange-yellow or even that dark brown, right? Are all positive, and it tells you, is there a little teeny bit of sugar, a medium amount, or a great deal of sugar in there? So we've already got, so give your results, positive or negative. For deionized water, it would have been negative. For 1% starch, it was negative. How about 1% sucrose? It was positive. Remember, it started to turn kind of the blue-green. 10% sucrose, oh, that was the kind of the orange-yellow. That was much more positive. And the onion juice was that dark brown, a lot of sugar, okay? So none of these three here were the negative, were the light blue. So we know it wasn't negative. So that's all you're going to do. You're going to, continue on in that video and look at the fats. That's really easy because there are different ways to tell, but all we're going to use is putting fats on a brown piece of paper. And you know how if there's anything fatty, you kind of see a little smear on there as it kind of soaks into the paper. So that would be positive if you see that, and negative if you don't. So there's only 4 of them to do. So I hope that helps you get started. Remember, you're just watching somebody else do everything. You keep track of your results and then write your information in here. And then you'll put your positive or negative here for each thing that you test. Same thing here for starch. What color is negative? What color would you expect it to be if it's positive? And then you have these 4 things that you're testing, and you're going to tell me, are they negative or positive for starch? Okay. So I hope that helps, honey. If you need any other help, just let me know, and we can even do this lab together if you'd like. Okay. So we'll talk to you soon.